Hello everybody, how's it going? Welcome back. And today we are going to discuss what's going to happen next in Black Clover manga after chapter 260. A preface, this video contains spoilers from the latest chapter of Black Clover, chapter 260. So if you haven't read the latest chapter of Black Clover, this video is not for you. With that being said, let's move on. What a chapter 260 of Black Clover was. Yami finally got captured by Zenon. Yes, our hero, the objectively best character of the series, being taken away like that. And that moment, the moment when Zenon takes Yami away and the glance that Yami gives the Black Bulls, as if he was saying, "You dumbasses, I've saved your ass many times. Now it's your turn to save me. You better come back stronger and save me." Man, that really makes your heart break. The Dark Triad, on the other hand, now have Yami and William in their grasp, the two keys of opening the Tree of Clifford and bringing in the demons from the other world. So what's next? What's gonna happen next in this amazing arc, the Spade Kingdom arc of Black Clover? Well, that's what we're gonna discuss today. I think you all will agree with me when I say we need another training arc. The training arc that we got before everything with the Spade Kingdom went down has now become useless. The 6 months training that Asta and his friends did is pointless at this point, because as we saw, Asta is no match for Dante one-on-one, Noel is no match for Vanica in a 1v1, and we know how Zenon wrecked Yuno to the point that he was almost dead. So another training arc is pretty likely, because we have to see Asta, Yuno and Noel get stronger before they fight Dante, Zenon and Vanica again. Now, let's dial this back a little bit. How can Asta get stronger? The clear and obvious answer is the devil, the anti-magic devil. He needs to learn how to harness the power of the anti-magic devil. But the anti-magic devil himself said that Asta was too weak and he cannot control all the power of the devil. So how can he get stronger so that he can get to that stage where he can control all the power of the devil? Another thing to note is that the devil was calling Asta weak because his body, Asta's body, couldn't handle all the power that the anti-magic devil could give him. So he might train physically. So less fooling around, more days in the gym, Asta. So Asta needs to get more buff, even more jacked than he already is, in order to handle all the power of the devil. Another thing that has gone unnoticed in this chaos of all the devils and the Spade Kingdom arc is Asta's grimoire. His grimoire has only like 2 spells and it is thick. Okay, that sounded wrong. Asta has a lot of pages in his grimoire where he can accommodate new spells. He has Black Divider, he has Black Hurricane, he has Black Meteorite, but besides that I don't think he has any other spells. So that's another way for him to get stronger. Find some new spells in his grimoire. But the most important thing for him would be to harness the devil's power. Maybe he can talk with the devil again, get himself stronger physically so that he can control all the anti-magic and sustain all the anti-magic that the devil gives him. His right arm currently belongs to the anti-magic devil, but I think it was made pretty clear that if Asta was strong enough in that fight against Dante, he would not have to make a deal and give up his right arm. So I think there is not gonna be any more sacrifices of Asta's body, but rather he's gonna get stronger and stronger and sustain the anti-magic power of the devil. He also has Yami's katana. Now everybody in the fandom is going crazy thinking that Asta has now another anti-magic katana that Yami gave him. He's able to put anti-magic in that katana and that will be his sword. I actually don't see that happening, because what's the point in naming the 3 swords, the Demon Destroyer sword, the Demon Slayer sword and the Demon Dweller sword, if you're gonna have a katana pop out of nowhere and he can inject anti-magic into it and that becomes his sword? I think that will lower the prestige. I think that will lower the lore. That was difficult to say. Having Asta pick up Yami's katana, although it would be pretty symbolic and amazing to see Asta pick up his master's or his captain's katana and fight with it, but what's the point in having the Demon Destroyer sword and Demon Slayer sword and the Demon Dweller sword if he's gonna do that? If that's the case, then you could have just made Asta pick up some random sword out of nowhere and put some anti-magic into it, and that would have been his sword. Also, you have to remember, all 3 swords that Asta has currently, excluding the katana, have their own purpose. The Demon Slayer sword has its own purpose, the Demon Dweller sword has its own purpose, and the Demon Destroyer sword has its own purpose. I can see Asta fighting with the katana, but I don't think katana will be a mainstay as one of his weapons like the 3 other swords are. Is that fair? So that's Asta. Asta will probably have to get stronger physically and talk to the demon or the devil and learn how to harness the power of the anti-magic devil. This is purely my headcanon and a prediction, but I think the perfect guy to train Asta to harness the power of the anti-magic devil and to make him use his swords more effectively. He's using his swords very effectively after the training he did in that 6 months time skip, but I actually think if he goes and trains with somebody like Patry, I think Patry may know how Licht used his swords and can help Asta with it. Again, this is purely headcanon on my part, but Patry may really be able to help Asta with his training. Moving on from Asta, what about Noelle? Noelle right now is in the Heart Kingdom. Let's be honest, we all know she survived the blast when Vanica blew up all her dark disciples, but the question is, how can she get stronger? We all thought that during the battle with Vanica, Lorpechica was gonna die and Noelle would get Undine, the water spirit, but that didn't happen. So how can Noelle get stronger now? See, we have already been told numerous times in the series that Noelle has immense potential because of her high magical power or mana. This has been driven home so many times in the series. Vanica has taken Lorpechica with her, and seeing as how Noelle and Lorpechica had formed a bond in the 6 months time skip prior to this whole Spade Kingdom arc, I think Noelle is gonna be pissed about Vanica taking Lorpechica, because Noelle, Lorpechica and Mimosa had formed a really good friendship between them. Everybody likes to hate on Noelle and just dismiss her as this classic cliche tsundere and say that all of her power-ups are ass-pulls, but it has clearly been stated in the series that there are 3 ways how you can increase your power. One is you have natural talent like the nobles. The second one is you work hard and train with your mana, do it the hard way. And the third one is whenever you are backed into a corner and you have enough will and enough resolve, a new spell appears in your grimoire. And Noelle is the only person so far in the series that has done all 3. She has benefited from having natural talent because she is a royal. She has trained hard because she couldn't control her magic. And she has been in fights and been driven into a corner so much that she has had to come up with new spells and new magic to help her get out of it. Like for example, the fight with Veto, where she used the Sri Dragon's Roar for the first time, or her fight with Kivin, I think it's pronounced as Kivin, where she came up with the Valkyrie dress because she was driven into a corner. People who hate on Noelle and say that her power-ups are all BS ass-pulls, sit down, okay? Noelle could also come up with new forms of her Valkyrie armor. I mean, we have already got the mermaid form, but she could come up with something else, like maybe a dragon form or something like that. That would be cool to see. Imagine a Valkyrie armor with Noelle in her dragon form. Wow. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but we didn't see her use Erase in her battle with Vanica, did we? So she can learn that too. I don't think she is a master of Mana Zone yet, not as good as Merililiona anyway, and she can improve on that too. Her Valkyrie armor uses Mana Skin, so she has mastered that to quite an extent, but she hasn't mastered Mana Zone yet. Noelle will get strong, I mean really strong. I think Tabata has great plans for her. He has given her 5 out of 5 in the data sheet in the growth category. So she is gonna grow a lot. I mean a lot. I'm also intrigued by what happened to her mother. I mean, how can you not be? So let me get this straight. The reason Vanica didn't kill Noelle in the Heart Kingdom was that she remembered how her mother got suddenly strong when Vanica took some children as hostage. And she remembered that and let Noelle live to fight another day. There are many theories floating out there that the child who Asir saved was Nozel, or maybe even Asta. It may very well have been Nozel because he knew all the terms of the curse. He knew that the one speaking of the curse would get cursed himself or herself. He could have seen his mother get cursed firsthand by Vanica and knew what the curse was. That is pretty likely. And I mean, the theories that say that the boy was Asta. Aren't Asta and Noelle the same age? Now, this is a shonen and a fantasy magical battle shonen at that. We could always find out that Asta was like 200 years old but had the body of a 16-year-old. I mean, that is quite possible, but I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think Tabata is gonna go that route. Asta and Noelle are said to be of the same age, and Noelle wasn't born back when Asir got cursed. So I don't think the boy was Asta. It could have been Nozel, or it could have been some other guy we haven't seen till now. He could be very insignificant to the story. At some point we might see a flashback and see how the fight between Vanica and Asier Silva went down, and we might find out who the boy actually is. I'm intrigued by that. Noel has a lot of way to get even stronger, and she actually stood up to one of the members of the Dark Triad and actually fought with her, which can't be said for our other main character, Yuno. Yuno really got the short end of the stick when it comes to fighting one of the members of the Dark Triad. Asta at least got a shot in on Dante. Noel somehow fought. Okay, she was with Lord Pechica and Lord Pechica helped her a lot. Noel somehow fought with Vanica pretty evenly, I would say, but Yuno got absolutely wrecked by Zenon. So how is Yuno gonna get stronger? The best way for Yuno to get stronger is, I think, to develop his spirit dive more. If he can, that is, learn to use his spirit magic at a higher level. That will be an appropriate level up for Yuno. I think we all can see that this is gonna be more of a Yuno focused arc than any other arc we have seen in Black Clover before. Not saying it's not gonna focus on Asta or Noel, but this is Yuno's arc. This is where Yuno goes from an iffy character to a well-developed one. Tabata has introduced this amazing narrative for Yuno and everything the Dark Triad has done to his family. He is literally the prince of the Spade Kingdom, and the Dark Triad have killed all of his family members and took over the Spade Kingdom. We will probably see another flashback of how Zenon and the Dark Triad killed all of the Grinble family. That is Yuno's family. I think it's Garinble or Greenbull. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Is it Grinburial or Garinble? Anyway, back to Yuno. There may be some family heirloom or something or a magic item that has been left by Yuno's family, and that can increase Yuno's power or help train him. He already has one of his loyal attendant or servants or butler, if I may say so, with him, so he might help him train, or he might help find the family heirloom or a magic item that can increase Yuno's power. I mean, there must be a reason why the guy showed up before the church at this point in time and not before. Maybe he wants to give Yuno something. Maybe he wants to give something to Yuno that his family left behind, or something that can make him stronger. So my prediction for the next part of the Spade Kingdom arc in Black Clover is, I think we're gonna have a buffer training arc. I think it's gonna be 5 to 10 chapters at most, and then we'll have a full-on rescue arc with Noel, Asta and Yuno leading the pack and going into the Spade Kingdom to rescue Yami, Vengeance and Lord Pechica. Isn't it funny that this is the Spade Kingdom arc and we have only seen Spade Kingdom for like one panel? I have this funny feeling that we'll get to see more of the Spade Kingdom as this arc progresses. Am I wrong? I would actually like to see Spade Kingdom in all its glory and how it is and what are the things, what kind of magics people use there. I mean, Tabata has been very good in world building, and I think one of the strengths of Black Clover has been its world building, so I want to see what the Spade Kingdom holds. The leaders of the Spade Kingdom are the Dark Triads, right? And one of the major thing going forward is what's gonna happen to the Dark Triad. They are really good villains, but you cannot say that they are the final villains of this arc, because we know the devils from the other world are coming and they are gonna be the final villains of this arc. So what's gonna happen to the Dark Triad? And not only that, what's gonna happen to Dante after he lost against Yami and Asta? Is he gonna take a demotion and not be a leader anymore? Is Zenon gonna take his place as the leader, or maybe Vanica? How are the Dark Triad actually gonna summon the devils? I know they have Yami and Vengeance in their grasp now, but are they gonna kill Yami and Vengeance and sacrifice them, or are they gonna use their magic to summon the devils, or is it gonna be something else? They are gonna create the Tree of Clifford, right? So how are they gonna do that? Because I don't think Yami and Vengeance are gonna say, yes, we'll create the Tree of Clifford for you, the Dark Triad. So maybe they'll just kill them. But again, I don't think Yami is dying before he gets to his home island one more time. I think Yami will die in the series later on, because mentor characters in shonen generally die, especially the mentors to the main character, but I don't think he's dying right here. That's just my prediction. Maybe Tabata will pull a rabbit out of the hat and kill Yami, who knows. I'll be very sad if he does that. Another really important thing I wanted to touch upon is the role of the Wizard King Julius Nova Chrono. What's his role gonna be in this arc? Because you can't say to me that Tabata resurrected this guy without having any plans for him in the future. So I expect Julius to play a major role in this arc. I don't think he has recovered all of his magic, because that would be quite impossible to recover all of his magic in a mere matter of 6 months, but I think he has recovered some of his magic spells, and he's gonna use that in the fight against the Dark Triad and the Spade Kingdom. I have a theory about how Julius could play a major role in the fight against the Spade Kingdom by helping Asta, Yuno and Noel, but that theory is gonna be another video of its own. Let's just leave it at this. I expect Julius to play a big role in this arc. Speaking of expectations and then getting disappointed, I have to say I was a little bit disappointed because we didn't get to see the captains after the 6 months time skip in the first part of the arc. Okay, we got to see Yami, but we didn't get to see Nozel, Fugolion. We didn't get to see the lioness, Meregliona. I know Tabara had to fit a lot of things in this first part of the arc, and you can understand why he didn't show the captains, but going forward, I would like to see more of the captains. I mean, imagine the fight between Vanica and Meregliona. Not only the fight, but the relationship Meregliona had with Noel's mom, Asir, was shown to be a special kind of relationship, so that fight is gonna be awesome. Also, Nozel versus Vanica is another possibility that we could get. I would like to see the captains in action: Figolion, Nozel, Charlotte, Meregliona, and all the other captains. Instead of the 1v1 we got between the Dark Disciples and the Black Bulls back in the Heart Kingdom, which was pretty mediocre in my opinion, we could have easily gotten a fight between the captains and the Dark Disciples, which would have been way better, because I think at this point we know the Black Bulls and their characters enough, but we still don't know some of the captains. So I think Tabara missed a trick there. The way the last chapter 260 of Black Clover ended, it opened up so many doors for Tabara to just play with the characters and give us so many interesting scenarios. Think about it. We don't know what Gaja is gonna do. Now Lord Pechika has been taken by Vanica. Where are Mars and Ladros? Because look back at when Xenon wiped out the entire Shining Generals of the Diamond Kingdom. I think they are called the Shining Generals, right? And we didn't see Mars and Ladros there, so they must be somewhere, and they might come to help Asta, Yuno and Noel when they invade the Spade Kingdom. There might also be some really strong mages in the Spade Kingdoms who are followers of Yuno's dad and who would gladly join forces with Yuno and Asta and the Clover Kingdom and attack the Spade Kingdom and the Dark Triad. The story could go so many ways, it's actually unreal. There are so many lingering plot threads to tie up for Tabara. I mean, you can count them. Yuno's lineage, Asta's relationship with the devil and why the devil is helping him, the whole thing with Noel, Vanessa and Asir, the devils, the Tree of Clifford and the devils, and that's just from the top of my head. As you can see, I am really excited about what's gonna happen in the next few chapters of Black Clover. The last and final thing I want to touch upon is the devils and the Tree of Clifford. Okay, we all know the devils are gonna come in. The Dark Triad have got Yami and Vengeance with them, and they're gonna create the Tree of Clifford, and the devils are gonna come to the real world from the other world. The devils are gonna come, that's fine. What I'm trying to say is, are we gonna see more than the devils? Are we gonna see some gods in the Black Clover universe? Are we gonna see more world building? Black Clover is heavily inspired by Norse mythology, and maybe we're gonna see some Vikings, maybe some angels, maybe some god. I would love to see that because I love world building. What will happen to the Dark Triad when the devils come in from the other world? Are the devils just using the Dark Triad to get into the real world? That's another question to ask. I think they are, because what use do the devils have of any humans? They're probably gonna kill the entire Dark Triad when they get to the real world from the other world. I also think there's gonna be a major death in this arc. I don't know who is it gonna be or how somebody's gonna die, but we have already had 2 death fakes with Yuno and Gotch. And I think the third one, the unlucky third character who's gonna be on the cusp of death, is actually gonna die this time. So whoever that is, I just hope it's not Yami, fingers crossed, because I don't want to see Yami die yet in the series. If it's Vengeance, then I can live with it. Or if it's any other character, somebody like Gaja or maybe Ladros, then it's okay, but I just hope Yami doesn't die. Maybe Tabara will troll us and kill Julius once again, this time for real. I mean, you can never know. So that's what I think is gonna happen in the upcoming chapters of Black Clover. We're gonna have a buffer training arc after what happened in chapter 260, and we might have a rescue arc led by Yuno, Asta and Noel into the Spade Kingdom with the captains, maybe someone from the Diamond Kingdom, and somebody who's ready to fight even from the Spade Kingdom who are Yuno's followers. I also predict that the rescue of Vengeance and Yami is not gonna go too well, because the Dark Triad are gonna create the Tree of Clifford and bring the demons to the real world from the underworld, and all hell is gonna break loose. And we'll see after that what happens, how the people of the Clover Kingdom, how the people of the entire continent comprising of the Spade, Clover, Diamond and Heart Kingdom will actually fight the devil. So yeah, that's it guys, that's the end of the video. This has been a really weird video, hasn't it? Some predictions, many headcanons and some theories mixed in one videos. I have never done this sort of video before, so if you liked the video, please leave a like, please subscribe, click on the bell icon for notifications, follow me on various social media platforms. This is Whipster Ratings. Until next time.